Good morning. This is Dawn Taylor. Welcome to my channel. I talk about this jailhouse journey because my husband is a federal inmate and has been incarcerated for 3 years, and daily devotionals that aren't daily. So I got to come up with a new word for that. But anyway, devotionals and morning revelations as the Holy Spirit inspires, and just whatever else is on my bucket list. So hold on. Okay. I don't know if it blipped out, but there was a call coming through. Okay. So this morning, my morning revelation was I have this big armoire. It is like, if you don't know what that is, it's a piece of furniture. It's a big wooden piece of furniture that they used to use back in the day when they didn't have closets to keep their clothing in and their personal belongings, jewelry, and such. And it has a big space at the top and drawers underneath. So I have it in all pieces. I don't have any instructions to put it together. Somebody blessed me with giving it to me, but it didn't include how it works, how you put it together. It came with a bag full of bolts and nuts and screws and things. And the same person that gave me that also gave me a bed. And the bed also came with pieces to be assembled and no instructions. Now, the bed is already put together and it's my kids sleep on it on a regular basis and it holds together fine. There are things that I've looked at it later and got, oh, that probably should have been there and there. But the way I put the bed together was I put furniture together a lot. I've had to assemble and disassemble lots of pieces over being a single parent for the last almost 30 years. And so, yeah, so I just knew what things look like, where they probably should go, and everything of that nature. And then we put it together. And that's pretty much how I'm going to attack this armoire, also, is the fact that I've assembled and reassembled several things. I know what things look like, where they probably should go, and all of that through experience. So, my revelation this morning was in Judges 3, the first couple of verses talks about the fact that God placed the children of Israel in a certain land that was surrounded by enemies, and there was a lot of other people who were not, who don't follow God the way the children of Israel do. They don't seek him in the same way. They don't have a relationship with him in the same way. But he purposely placed them there so that through experience, they could learn about war. Um, there were, 40 years in the desert and all that stuff. People died off. People didn't know this. People didn't know that. Blah, 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 blah. So it says the fact that he purposely placed them in a land, in a situation so that they could gain experience, that they could gain testing and the knowledge of war and battling. Okay. So those that stood out to me when I thought about the fact that these things that we go through in this life, we are quick to, when it gets uncomfortable and it doesn't feel good, we are really quick to resist and want to run away from the situation, especially when it is a situation we have already experienced, when it is something that we have dealt with or gone through before, or something we thought was we got rid of, or we worked out, or we were healed from, or redeemed from, or not dealing with anymore, when the residue of those situations still linger, and maybe we're laying dormant and now they pop up. And like whack-a-mole, I said this expression to my husband, it's like whack-a-mole. You get, once you get rid of it, it pops back out, it pops up somewhere else, it pops up over here, it pops up over here, it pops up over here. And so anyway, our first human fleshly desire or reflex is to recoil, pull back, resist, and run away from it. But the thing is, our experience is what prepares us for war. We're in a war. We're in a battle out here. It's just facts. It's just what is going on. And it's a good thing when we go through things. Paul tells us that. I don't know who else tells us that. James, maybe. I'm not sure. But there's more than one disciple that tells us that the things that we go through is not in vain, that the things that we go through builds our character. Our character then builds, patience. Our patience builds, or patience, character, and then hope. Yeah, it builds our patience, character, and then hope. So there is a purpose in what we go through, and the purpose that we are continuing to go through things. There was a disjustice to, or injustice to, Christianity when several years ago it turned from fire and brimstone to Pollyanna gospel, where we just wanted people to feel good about the word and being a Christian. We just wanted people to know it's a good life over here. It's a good God, and come over here and experience it. And there's facts to that. God is a good God, and He gives us a good life. He came to give us life more abundantly. He came not to condemn us, but to give us life, because the other choice is death. Anything outside of God is death. Do not be mistaken about that. You only get two choices: life or death. That's it. There's no gray area here. There's no, well, I might, I agree with some of that, but I don't agree with all of it. I'm going to live for myself and what makes me happy, but I still love God. So I'm going to, go to church every once in a while on holidays and say prayers on grace for and bless my food and all that. Mm-mm. It's not how it is. It's not how it works. Wish it did. Wouldn't that be nice and easy? But that's not how it works. God gives us two decisions. You can choose life or you can choose death. Anything outside of God is death. And when I say outside of God, I don't mean, yeah, I said the prayer. Yeah, I know who He is. Yeah, I plan on going to heaven. Yeah, I acknowledge that He's the creator. And then I just do what I want to do. That's rebellion. That's death. Okay? So there's those two choices. And when you make the choice for life, obviously that's a good choice. But where we messed up at in Christianity is that we wanted to convince people of how good God is by negating the fact that we are in a constant battle. So then what we set people up for failure was that they thought their life was going to be easier walking as a Christian. And it is not that true. It's not true at all. It's actually the opposite most of the time. It is not easier walking in this life. It is not just great things all the time. It is a lot of fighting and battling and struggling and striving and choosing what's right. And that doesn't feel good all the time. But the difference is that when you choose life, you have hope. That when you choose life, you have a purpose. That when you choose life, you have something that you're working towards. And the most distinctive difference is when you choose life, you have a life giver. You have a creator. You have somebody who's already written the story, who already has the victory, who already is making it an easier life than the battle that you fight when you choose death ignorantly, because you're still battling people. You ain't avoiding the battle just because you stay docile on the fence. There is still a battle. You're just ignorant to the effects of that battle because you're choosing other things to numb it, whether it be gambling, food, sex, drugs, busyness, false idols, your children, titles, whatever it is. You are choosing other things to pamper and blind and numb the effects of life. So life is still lifing, regardless of which side you're on, regardless of which choice you make. The thing is, when you choose life, then you have somebody who is sovereign over this life, who has your best interest at heart, and who is taking care of the heavy lifting, because his yoke is light. We're not meant to do the struggle by ourselves. We're not meant to carry the burdens on our own. We're not meant to go through everything solo in battle, but we are battling. We just have a good king with a great strategy that already has the victory as we battle. He already won the war. We just doing the little battles out here. That part. So your experiences equip you. And I don't really know if I want to say equip you necessarily, because God will equip us regardless of our knowledge, wisdom, experience, whatever. When he calls us somewhere and he places us somewhere, he will then give us the equipment. He will equip us. He will fill us with whatever it is we need to know. So I don't really want to use the word equip, but our experiences prepare us for the battle in a better way. So then we know exactly what to do, what's expected, and we are readied for war. Sometimes he has placed us in situations in our lives. Most of the time he has placed us in situations and places in our lives, if we are following his will and we are choosing the steps that he orders. He puts us in places like he did the children of Israel on purpose, that is difficult and resistant and with yuck around us, so that he can ready us for war. That's my revelation this morning. I hope that settles in somebody's spirit in a good way. Opens your eyes to something, removes some scales, and allows you to have that peace that you don't get when you choose the other side. That's the other benefit. There's this peace that you get when you choose life, when you're walking. Like I said, he gets to order your steps. He gets to do all the heavy lifting. He gets to clear the way. He gets to move the mountain. We request for the mountain to move, but he moves the mountain. Like there's all these things, and there's this peace. So you're not just frantic. You're not full of anxiety. You're not riddled with how things are going to get done, or when they're going to get done, or what's going to get done, or how to deal with that sin, or how to deal with that anguish, or how to deal with that trauma. Because you run to him, and he says, okay, move this over there, put that right there, get it done. You waited for war. Now, if you go read Judges 3, read all of it, because you'll see what happens when you resist. He placed them there on purpose to ready them for war. They resisted what he was doing over and over and over again. And each time they did, they fell into slavery. They fell into debauchery. They fell into sin. They fell into chasing other gods and idols instead of the God. And each time it got increasingly worse and worse and worse on them. And each time they fell into the worse, because they was in rebellion, running against God to death, not to life, towards him. Then they cried out to him in his mercy and grace, plucked them out, set them back where they needed to be. Okay, sorry. But plucked them out, set them back to where they needed to be, and process started over. Like, he gives us this word so we can learn from it, learn our humanity in it, and then also glean wisdom from it to like, oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to stop doing that. Lord, I don't want to keep repeating. I don't want to keep falling back into. I want to get ready. I want to be readied. Allow my experiences to do what you want them to do, God. Make me readied. All right, y'all have a great day.